Let me just say, April is stacked with romance reads. Clear your schedule. We have some emotional damage to collect, fantasy realms to escape to, grumpy heroes to argue with, and some murder mysteries to solve. So seriously, this month is going to be a whole vibe. And I've got some books that need to be on your TBR, so let's just get into them. Welcome to Reading Under the Covers, a romance novel podcast where we chat, fangirl, and maybe even swoon over our latest reads. I'm Francesca from Under the Covers Book Blog, and today I am diving into 9 new romance books, for the most part, that are coming out in April 2025. That should be absolutely on your radar, and you need to add to your TBR if you want your April to have a ton of variety and just be a ton of fun in reading. If you want even more bookish goodness and new releases, we do have some more blog posts that you can check out with April 2025 book releases. We have our regular April most anticipated books that are coming out for the month on the blog. I also have a post for romance releases that are going to be available on Kindle Unlimited that come out in April. And over on Mysterylandia, we have our mystery, thrillers, cozy mysteries, and horror book releases that come out in April as well. So I will leave all of those links in the show notes so you can check those out as well. And don't forget that if you are a paid Substack member, you also have access to our book release database, which you can filter by genres, by tropes, by character types, setting, anything you want. There's a ton of books in there for April, so it's definitely stacked with books that you can add to your TBR. And if you're a mood reader like me, I also put together a post all about what tropes to read in April, all with seasonal vibes and also channeling the Aries season energy. It's the perfect mix of books that channel the start of the spring season as well as matching the fire sign mood. I'll drop the link for that also in the show notes if you want to check it out. But here we're going to get into 9 books that I think give such a nice variety and would be a great, well-rounded TBR for the month. We're going to start off with 2 recommendations from us here at Under the Covers. The first one is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. This is a standalone contemporary romance, and Abby Jimenez always comes for your heart. This one is going to hurt so good as usual. If you're into emotional, real-life romances with characters who just can't catch a break, but they still find a way to love each other through all of that mess, then this is the perfect book for you. We have Samantha and Xavier as our main characters. Xavier is a drop-dead gorgeous vet, and they hit it off. They have this life-changing connection, but plot twist is that she's moving 2,000 miles away the next day, and what should be a one-night situation turns into a love that neither of them can forget. There's a lot of heartbreak here. We're talking grief, parental abuse, some financial strain, Alzheimer's, but it never feels heavy just for the sake of being heavy. Abby layers in so much warmth and hope, and yes, even a little bit of humor. Xavier grows on you fast, even if his first impression is just a hot mess, and their chemistry is just chef's kiss perfect. If you love emotional slow burns and a bit of a faded vibe, plus some second chance romances, you're going to really be obsessed with this one. But maybe don't read it in public unless you're okay with ugly crying in front of strangers. The second book and another recommendation is Enchantra by Kaylee Smith. This is the Wicked Game series, book number 2. It's paranormal romance. If you love Phantasma, this is definitely picking up the same kind of vibe with a deadly competition, and it gives us a bit of a dark fairy tale twist to it. So here's the setup. Basically, Genevieve, who is the sister of the heroine from the first book, gets an invite to Enchantra. Technically, the invite was not for her, it was for her mother, but she's trying to figure out a connection because of her mother's passing in the first book, and so she decides to go and take her place. This is a cursed palace that is part magic labyrinth, part nightmare bachelor mansion kind of situation. It's all thorns, illusions, high stakes. We have Rowan, who is the broody, dangerously hot gatekeeper, and he tells her basically not to enter, but of course, naturally, she ignores him and ends up smack in the middle of a game that she has to win to survive, and she has basically no other choice. There's a fake dating setup, but except it's more like a fake marriage for survival. Genevieve and Rowan have to convince the palace and everyone that's watching that they are in love, and the tension is thick. Now, I don't think necessarily this hits quite the high of Phantasma, but it is such a great book. It's definitely a worthy story. And I love the fact that the author was able to give us a deadly competition that would have normally felt very repetitive, being that the first book had the same setup, but it was completely new and refreshing, and she was able to do that in a very unique way. I also really love the fake marriage dynamic mixed in with the deadly competition. Plus, I love a good morally gray hero, and That is strong with Rowan. So I think if you're into fake dating, survival games, found family, magical danger, and some forbidden tension as well, this one definitely needs to be on your list. The next one is Hardly a Gentleman by Eloisa James. This is book 2 in the Accidental Bride series, and this is for my historical girlies. We're getting a forced marriage, a Scottish laird, and a heroine who would rather die than be told what to do. So Clara's debut season was a total disaster, so she hightails it to Scotland, pretending to be a housekeeper. And that is where we meet our hero, the laird, Caelan. He was not looking for a wife, but when he meets this bookish, sharp-tongued Clara, he changes his mind really quick, except that she keeps rejecting him over and over and over. And eventually circumstances force them into a marriage, and that's not the end of the story, of course, that's the beginning. Caelan has to win over the woman who didn't want him in the first place. There's some banter, there's longing, and there's of course a brooding hero in a kilt who secretly reads. I mean, basically, if you love arranged marriages, grumpy sunshines, and heroines who have an actual backbone, this is the perfect, cozy, charming escape that is going to deliver on all of those fronts. Next, we have Gold Coast Dilemma by Nana Malone. This is a standalone contemporary romance, and this one brings all the culture, family pressures, the weight of expectations, forbidden romance, all of that in a wonderful story. Ofosua is a Ghanaian American heiress who's got her life basically mapped out for her, at least according to her family. So that includes a picture-perfect wedding to a man that she doesn't love. But then she meets Cole, this guy at a publishing party, and they had this one flirty moment, an unforgettable kiss, and then she can't stop thinking about him. But things get complicated fast from there. Ofosua wants to honor her traditions, and the pressure of the wedding feels more like a performance. Everything starts unraveling fast. And just when she thinks that she's left Cole in the past, fate drops him back into her life. So if you're into second chances, family expectations versus personal freedom, and stories that celebrate culture while challenging it at the same time, I think this one is going to be a great book to pick up. It has emotional depth, sizzling chemistry, and a heroine that finds her own voice. Up next is Murder Runs in the Family by Tamara Berry. This is for the cozy mystery fans, and it sounds so fun. So basically we have Amber who flees her life and shows up at her eccentric grandma's retirement community. This is a place where she technically isn't allowed to live, obviously, and she definitely can't afford anything else. And on her first night there, someone is murdered. Just very casual. Her grandma Jade gets accused of the crime, and Amber, who is still low-key processing everything that's gone on in her life, she decides that she's going to clear her grandmother's name. Add in a missing tortoise, quirky residents, and some genuinely laugh-out-loud moments, and you've got a mystery that is just going to be very light and smart. So I think if you liked Finley Donovan or anything in that cozy with a bite category, this one definitely needs to be on your spring reading list. The next one is Quietly Yours by L.H. Causeway. This is book 3 in the Quiet Love series, but you can actually read this as a standalone. It is a contemporary, and it has that quiet, emotional slow burn that just simmers under the surface. I think L.H. Causeway is so good at that. She's definitely one of my favorite authors. And in this one, we have Ada Rose, who loses everything when her father and stepmother suddenly pass away, including losing her home. That would be bad enough, but it turns out that the house goes to Jonathan, her stepmother's estranged son, and he wants her gone as soon as possible. So she's living in her car, and it's totally messy. But when he finds out, he offers her a place to stay right next door to him. So what follows is this story about two very different people that slowly have to let their walls down. It's definitely a grumpy sunshine, neighbors to lovers, with a ton of emotional healing, all wrapped up with L.H. Causeway's beautiful lyrical writing. So I think it's definitely one you won't want to underestimate and miss. And now the next one, if you're into your reverse harem paranormal era, then Tessa Hale has a new series starting out this month. It's the Wolves of Crescent Creek series, and book 1 is Crescent Kingdom. In this one, our heroine has spent her whole life hiding who she is, and for good reason. But then she ends up surrounded by a pack of wolves, literal shifters, who all come with their own baggage, secrets, and intense vibes. There's the fighter, the Brit, the hacker, the silent one, the scary one, you get the idea. So she finds safety with them, but also something more. There's this chemistry that's there from the jump, but also tons of danger, of course. These guys all have secrets, and when she finds out the truth, it might change everything for them. So book 1 is out this month, and books 2 and 3 are coming out in July and September, so it's going to be a great series to binge this year. The next is A Proposal to Die For by Molly Harper. This is also a standalone, and this one just sounds so fun. If you love your romance with a side of dead bodies, I think this is perfect for you. We have Jessamine, who plans marriage proposals for a living, and she just took on a big client from her past, so we've got a bit of chaos, and she ends up at a secluded mountain resort with high maintenance rich people, no cell service, and a suspiciously hot grumpy chef. Of course, at this point, a body turns up, followed by another, and maybe a drug deal or two. So Jessa has to juggle being professional, not dying, and figuring out who the killer is. It's all in a very fast-paced, funny, and with a splash of romantic comedy package. So it's great for fans of cozy mysteries with quirky heroines, but also with a bit of spice. And lastly, I have Enigma by Runix. This is a standalone dark academia romance, and it's got secret societies, morally gray love interests, and dangerous vibes from page 1. So Salem enrolls at Mortimer University to find out what really happened to her sister. Casimir, he's either her biggest obstacle in this or her most unexpected ally, and maybe both. There are murders, there are secrets, a bit of simmering enemies to lovers that just feels like slow burn crack. And if you loved her book Gothicana, then this new world from Runix is going to bring the same vibe, but with even higher stakes. So it's perfect if you're into forensics, forbidden romance, secret societies, and unraveling a mystery that's going to keep you up all night. So that's it for our April picks. Whether you're here for some emotional gut punches, some fantasy, some cozy chaos, I think that there's something releasing this month that's going to hit your spot. And honestly, I think that this variety is going to make your reading very diverse and entertaining. Make sure that you check out the show notes for the full blog post with even more April releases that you can check out and add to your TBR. And if you want even more and you want to have access to the full database of book releases that we have curated, then definitely sign up for the book vault, and you'll be able to search through the database, filter it, and all of that. That is available to our paid Substack members, so I'm going to leave a link to that as well in the show notes if you want to check it out. For even more book recommendations, don't forget you can always go to underthecoversbookblog.com and sign up for our free Substack so you get notified of all of the content that we post across all of our platforms. Plus, if you are tuning in on YouTube, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification so you don't miss any content from us. But for today, that's all I got for you. I hope you find something wonderful to read this month, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!